Why did Daredevil fall into that well? Because he couldn't see that well. Welcome to Comic Book Editions Volume 233. In today's video, I have some Daredevil Bronze Age comic books that I've added into my collection to share with you. I have some other Marvel, and just a little bit of DC Comics. I'm glad that you're here for the haul. Welcome. Let's get started right away with Daredevil issue 109. We're in 1974 right now. Gil Kane did this cover, which I think is awesome. The creative team inside is writer Steve Gerber, and then William Robert Brown is the interior artist. And the basis of this story is the Black Spectre is trying to recruit Daredevil and Black Widow to join his cause, which, the cause is no good. This issue also features an appearance by Shanna the She Devil. Shanna is a character that I've been very interested in, and she comes recommended to me from silver-haired Bronze Age Babe and some other community members. I had the first issue, which is the key issue, and I never have a problem when I'm out hunting finding the first issue. But the other few issues of her very small title, not the easiest to find. Now that I've completed DC's Rima the Jungle Girl, I might turn my attention over to Marvel's Shanna the She Devil and try to finish that run, which did include some guest appearances in this time frame in the Daredevil comic book. This issue also leads into Marvel 2-in-1 issue number 3. Last year, I almost bought that online, but I thought the price was just a touch too high, and I wanted to see if I could find it out in the wild somewhere. That might have been a mistake, because out of the wild, I never see any single-digit issues of Marvel 2-in-1. I look, I don't find them. The only one I'm really looking for is issue 3 with The Thing and Daredevil guest starring Black Widow. So this story kicks it off. It concludes in Marvel 2-in-1, and then it all wraps up in Daredevil issue number 110, which I have in my collection, and if you remember, I showed that in Comic Book Editions volume 148, which has been a little bit. So this is a good way to get us kicked off, and one more time I'm going to say it's an awesome Gil Kane cover. Up next is an issue that I might have regretted buying, and it's not because the story's bad. It's just I didn't notice until I got home that the original owner, I assume, or some kid wrote his name on top here, and I didn't notice it, and the book wasn't in as nice of condition once I got it out of the bag and board. I was at an LCS. They were having a big sale. People were just grabbing everything, so I just grabbed it. And I should have looked it over a little bit better, but I didn't end up paying much money, so when or if I do decide to upgrade this, that will be not a huge financial loss hit taking on this one because I didn't pay all that much for this. This time we have John Romita doing the cover. Another solid cover. The basis of this story is Candice Nelson, which I believe is Foggy Nelson's half-sister. FBI agents have come to take her into custody, and she's trying to get a hold of Matt Murdock to represent her. And when all of this is going on, the Gladiator shows up after her as well. So that gives us the basis of this. There's not a whole lot of Black Widow in this story. We're going to move on to issue number 119. This is from 1974 as well, the end of 1974. This is Tony Isabella as writer. This is his first Daredevil story that he wrote. So I know Tony Isabella is associated with Daredevil. This was his first story. William Robert Brown still on interior art like he was on the last issue, and Gil Kane returning to the cover on this. This is about a boxer that wants to fight a heavyweight champion. Well, he comes in contact with a guy that's a coroner that did the autopsy on the Iron Man villain, the Crusher. And during the autopsy, he was able to figure out how to obtain the Crusher's power, and he ends up giving it to this boxer. So he becomes the new Crusher. I've been trying to collect the Daredevil Bronze Age comic books from 81 through 124. These are the issues where Black Widow made appearances. She started out as a guest star, then became an eventual co-headliner on the comic book. And then after being a co-headliner, she still made some appearances before they kind of phased her out. And I think they moved her over into, was it Champions probably at that time? I think so, because I think she had already done Amazing Adventures. So I I think Champions probably is why they kind of phased her out of Daredevil and sent her over that way. Got some Black Widow representing on the t-shirt today. It's been a while, too, since I've showed a Daredevil haul on my channel. I think the last one was Comic Book Editions number 204. So it's good to have some more DD here. It's got an awesome letter column called Let's Level with Daredevil. Jumping ahead just by 2 years, 1976 is Volume 1, Issue number 135. We have Marv Wolfman as a writer and William Robert Brown continuing as the interior artist in here, Rich Buckler cover. But look at this cover. Do you notice something special or something different about this cover? If you said the price, you're absolutely correct. And that's the entire reason that I bought it. I was going through these back issues and I saw it and I instantly noticed the price. So this is a test market copy. And Marvel Comics in 1976 was trying to see what would happen if they raised their price up to 30 cents on some titles in select markets. I've read that the markets that were tested in were Albuquerque, Baltimore, Grand Rapids, San Antonio, San Jose, and Springfield, Massachusetts. So there could have been other markets, but those are the confirmed markets for sure that they tried doing this test on. It was my original intention to flip this comic book because a test version of this is probably worth 4 times what the original price is. They didn't have this priced as a test market copy. They had it priced as if it was a normal copy. I saw that and I'm like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to flip it. And then the more I held on to it, the more I was like, oh, I kind of like having a test market comic book in my collection as kind of a representation of that. So I don't think it's for sale unless you make me some insane offer that's too good to refuse. I don't think it's for sale. I think it's staying in the collection, but you never know what might happen. The basis of the story is the Jester is trying to frame Daredevil for murder, and Daredevil decides to go along with it. So that's the basis on this. I looked just for fun at the time of recording this. I looked on the CGC census just to see how many graded copies there were of the 30-cent price variant, and there were 32 on the census. So might even be worth, investing into slabbing this for the future. I don't know, maybe. Wouldn't rule it out. Not a huge priority, wouldn't rule it out. That's it for our mini Daredevil haul of Bronze Age comic books that I've added into my collection. I have some more Marvel to share with you, but first, if you're new to my channel and haven't subscribed yet, I hope you take this opportunity to do so. The algorithm loves it when you share the video and share the channel and give it a thumbs up, a like, a heart. At the end of the video, I'll be asking for your comments, which I love reading. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you're a brand new viewer, showing support by subscribing is a great way to help me out and hit the 1K. Finally got to that 850 subscriber mark. If we can just get that last 150 to the ultimate goal, that would be amazing. More Marvel to share with you. Let's start out with this one. I've been to Ollie's. So I was talking about Ollie's recently on the channel, and I tend to go about twice a week, just so I don't end up missing out on anything. And this was something that I saw on the Ollie shelf. It's a Marvel Masterworks. It's my first Marvel Masterworks. And this collects the first 10 issues of X-Men Volume 1. This hardcover was originally released in July of 2023. It had a $75 price tag. Maybe you can see my red Ollie's price tag here. I paid $5 for it. $5 stinking dollars. You can't beat that. I know a couple of these issues have been done as facsimiles. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the near future Marvel doesn't announce that they're going to do monthly facsimiles, at least of the first dozen issues. That would not surprise me at all. But I have them. And there's some issues in here that I've never read, so I'm looking forward to that. My oldest X-Men in my collection is X-Men number 3. Not bad. First appearance of the Blob. Not bad for the oldest X-Men in your collection. Didn't know this would be at Ollie's, complete surprise, and it's one of those pick it up and enjoy it. But I wasn't done with Marvel Masterworks. They had this one too, same price, Fantastic Four. If I didn't mention it, but I think I did when I was talking about X-Men, these are my first Marvel masterpieces that I've ever owned. I know that Marvel is in the process right now of reissuing monthly the first 12 Fantastic Four comic books as facsimiles. And I was planning on getting those. But you know what? The first 10 are covered in this book, in the hardcover, and I kind of like the hardcover, and I could get the first 10 for $5 when the other books would be at least $5 a piece. Economics makes more sense going this route, and I like how it looks on the shelf too. So this is what I'm going with, and I think I'm going to be happy with. Of course, Marvel's doing this because the Fantastic Four movie is coming out this summer. I'm looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to the Superman movie as well. So a little bit more Ollie's in my collection. And since I'm talking about those Fantastic Four facsimiles, before I found this book, I did end up picking up this Alex Ross variant cover of the Fantastic Four #1 facsimile. Is this not absolutely gorgeous? I'm an Alex Ross fan as it is. I've met him, by the way. He doesn't do that many appearances, so I feel pretty fortunate to have met him, and he was a very nice guy. So this is in the collection. I'm probably not going to get the other floppies as facsimiles unless there's some ultra cool variant or incentive cover. And I'm trying to steer away from the variant and incentive covers and probably stick to the Marvel Masterworks that I just showed you to fulfill that run, unless the price is super duper cheap after they've been out for a while and they end up in some type of a bargain bin. But I love this Alex Ross interpretation of the classic FF #1 cover. We're going to turn to DC in just a moment. I do want to give you a little programming note. Fanboys Live in the Retro Review, which is normally on Sunday nights, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, we are going to be on a spring hiatus. This upcoming weekend, the 13th, Tony, Signature King, has plans. I have plans that day, so no show this upcoming Sunday. And then the week after, the 20th, is Easter. So no show then. So we're doing just a quick little 2-week spring break for Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. So don't look for us this weekend or next weekend, but we'll be back after that. And I said just a little bit of DC Comics to share with you today. We'll start with A War of the Gods. This is issue 1. This miniseries was the first Wonder Woman-centric miniseries that was ever done, and it was essentially tied to Wonder Woman's 50th anniversary when this was originally released in 1991. George Perez is all over this thing as writer and artist and even more titles. This is the direct market version, which has little mini posters inside. So I have the facsimile of all 4 of these War of the God comic books. But I also have the omnibus as well, and I showed the omnibus in Comic Book Editions Volume 137. But I don't actually have the originals until now, and I've read the story. We reviewed it on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review, but I thought I wanted to get the floppies into the collection. I think I'm going to try doing the direct market edition, so I get the bonus posters. I think there's 4 bonus posters in each issue. So, when I can get them, I get them. This story, it's a busy story. And it's the story that George Perez, it was his very first idea of a Wonder Woman story to do for DC, and it ended up being the final thing that he did for DC. He was not happy with the way it was promoted and how this was handled, and that ended up with him leaving the company at that time that this wrapped up. So there's a little behind the scenes for you. One more book in today's video, and then we'll call it a day. And it's Martian Manhunter, Volume 4, Issue number 9. This is a Neal Adams variant cover, which is an homage to Batman issue number 232. This was back in 2016. They had a variant cover month where Neal Adams was doing homages of his own covers, but they were changing the characters out. Wonder Woman and Superman do not appear anywhere in this issue. I've been trying to get some more of these Neal Adams covers and variants from that month that are missing in my collection, Most recently, Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe AOK'd me one that I had my eye on, and I showed that in Comic Book Editions Volume 222. Rob Williams was the writer for the interior story. Eddy Barrows did the interior art, or I should say Rob Williams was the writer of the story. Eddy Barrows did the interior art. This story was not for me. It was too hard to follow. It was very forgettable. I mean, I know who John Jones is, and I know who the Martian Manhunter is. I couldn't get into the story at all. It's a good thing I bought it for the cover, because the cover displays everything that I wanted out of the comic book, and I didn't get anything else in there. Sometimes some comic books just miss their mark, and maybe for someone else it was a fantastic story. I just couldn't get into this one. It happens sometimes, doesn't it? There you go. So, back issue of the week. I should have mentioned this when I was talking about Daredevil, but it's a Daredevil themed back issue of the week, and I hope that you'll check it out. It's currently on my channel right now. No Fanboys Live and the Retro Review, like I mentioned. It's looking like John's Comics with Kids and I will do another JLA versus Avengers show next week. Look for more details about that on my YouTube channel, and of course posting on my Instagram stories as well. What was your favorite thing that I showed today? And are any of these comic books in your collection? I'd love to know that. So leave me the answers and share the answers in the comment section below. Your comments are welcome, encouraged, and appreciated, and I love reading them. Thank you for making it to the end of this Comic Book Editions video. Next week, I think we're going to do a JLA haul. You know, working on that collection's been a priority for me as well, and I'm getting down there. So I think that's what we'll do next week for Comic Book Editions Volume 234. Join me for that. Until we get a chance to visit again, have a fantastic week and take care. Bye for now. Daredevil little mini haul with Daredevil Volume 1, issue number blah, 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 blah.